This is the Amp Hour Podcast, recorded August 5th, 2015, episode 261. Recycle all your microcontrollers.
Welcome to the Amp Hour. I'm Dave Jones from the EEV blog.
And I'm Chris Gamble of Contextual Electronics.
What's up, nerd?
Not much, man.
Your company keeps acquiring people. What's the deal?
Right. Well, it's not my company, but it's the company that I work with and I enjoy. Yeah, Supply Frame bought...
Oh, you work for them. Come on. Ball and chain. Come on.
Well, I'm just saying I have my own company as well. That's why it's...
Right.
It's not like Contextual Electronics bought Tinder.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah. So Tindy, Tindy got bought.
Everyone knows Tindy. Yeah, they allow people to. It's kind of like a allows you to like an online store kind of thing.
Yeah, I think they were kind of pegging themselves as kind of like Etsy for electronics, right? So like the
right.
Yeah, the crafty but small volume things that are really not going to ever be sold in the store, or even on like an Amazon or an eBay. Maybe eBay, but kind of giving an option.
But a much smaller commission than what eBay, because it's like 12% to sell on eBay, or 10% plus PayPal to sell on eBay.
No, I didn't know that. Yeah.
Oh yeah. eBay's very expensive to sell on.
No, I didn't know that. Okay. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's great. I know Emil, and he's got a cool team, and I had nothing to do with any of it, to be honest.
Yeah, right.
But. I have my Tindy T-shirt, so I've got the dog T-shirt. So, so yeah.
I see. The dog has got like a little Hackaday symbol on it now.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. The dog collar. No, the tongue. Is that the dog sticking its tongue out? I'm looking at the.
Think so. I guess it is. I don't know.
Right. Anyway, I think it is. Anyway, it's got the Hackaday, the Jolly Spanner, is it?
The Jolly Wrencher. The Jolly Wrencher.
The Jolly Wrencher. Yeah, right. Yep.
I don't know. You had talked. I was thinking about this when I saw the article was finally out. You had talked about maybe selling something on there at one point, or I'm sure that some of our listeners do as well. I mean, or people buying stuff on there.
And then I ended up getting my Shopify store. So, which, Tindy's good if you don't have an audience, because it's like a marketplace.
Right? Exactly. Yep.
It's the same thing with eBay. You sell on eBay because it's a marketplace, right?
Right.
And you're willing to sacrifice that 10% because, there's a lot of people just searching for shit on eBay, right? And same with Tindy, right? People will go browse to, what's on Tindy, and
right.
they might have, product of the day or whatever. I don't know. I haven't been on there for a while, but yeah, it's a marketplace. So
it's around electronics as well and stuff like that. So yeah.
So to me, who has my own audience, someone like me, then it's not of any real value,
Right.
It is in terms of being a marketplace. So, yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well,
so I just sold it myself.
Makes sense.
Sorry, Tindy. Yeah. But then again, like Shopify take a cut as well. These shopping carts. Or these. Back end carts. Unless you install them yourself and things like that. We were talking about this before the show. They actually take a commission. I think Shopify is like 1% or something, 1.5%.
Yeah.
Or something like that. So yeah.
It's tough no matter what platform you sell on too, because there's a lot of there's always the logistical stuff. Obviously, about the shipping and stuff like that.
The logistical stuff, yeah.
And
that took me a while to sort out.
Right, and I think that the thing is everybody's kind of figuring that out too. So it's tough. It's just commerce when what we really want to do is Tindy. A lot of people are they're selling extras they have from their projects or something like that, or maybe they're a small company, they're trying to sell their stuff there. But it's not people don't go on there to optimize their shipping methods. They just want to get the stuff out there. And
they want people to buy it. They want they want an audience.
Right.
I just checked. Shopify is actually 2.6%. It's huge.
That's not too bad. Is
Yeah,
that
well, actually, it's almost 2.9% if you get the basic plan that I'm on. Yeah, so I'm paying 2.9%, which is why I want to move away from Shopify. I want to, I've got my new website. It's coming. It's going to have its own integrated shopping cart and things like that. So I don't have to pay the 2.9% anymore, almost 3%, which is, a reasonable chunk.
Yeah, I guess I mean, to be honest, Dave, I've never sold anything on my own, so
Right.
yeah, it's an interesting thing. I mean, and I think that there's a lot of other stuff that goes in there too, like just thinking about, well, we've talked about the kit business on here as well before, stuff like that. Like obviously, there's the cost of, we've talked when Jeff was on the show as well a bunch. He talked about his Geiger counter kit, stuff like that. There's a lot of the logistical stuff in there that turns me off from it, to be honest. I mean, like I like the idea of having a product that can get out there, but
you're a drop shipper kind of guy. I can just feel it. Set up your own shopping cart, but somebody else handles everything and just slice 10% off the top for you.
Maybe. So, I think if there was a service that was kind of like Macrofab or Circuit Hub or something like that, where it's like the assembly happens, and then you send it to someone else, and then there's integration step, and then someone else ships it, and maybe I get 10% just for maintaining the design, stuff like that.
You can do that. There are places that do that now, and you don't have to lift a finger. You can just sit back and a check turns up every month, right?
Yeah, right.
But somebody else is making all the money on your product. That's the thing. And if you're happy with the 10% or whatever, then fine, so be it. I don't
think it's the happy with 10%. It's just the not thinking the rest of it's worth it kind of thing,
Right. Yeah. Well, some people ask, why I don't sell my microcurrent through Adafruit anymore, right? And things like that. It's because Adafruit will making more money on that microcurrent than I was, and that's no secret, It's no secret what margins they want, if you want to sell your product through them, it's almost certain they will make more money on it than you will. And if you're okay with that because it's because you want the big audience, of course, then that's fine.
I don't even think it's about the audience. I mean, the audience like that is great.
No, it's all about the audience.
No, I know that it's all about the audience from like a business perspective, but I just I don't want to care about that other stuff. If I was at the point where I was,
yeah. Oh no, it's also they handle the shipping, they handle the returns, they handle everything, and they just buy your thing in bulk, right? So you just ship them,
right,
100 units, and they pay you, for 100 units, and that's how it works.
Yeah, so, I just want to just design stuff. I don't want to.
Right? Yeah. You don't want to do that. Yeah, no, that's fine. Everyone's got their own. Yeah. Like I don't necessarily want to do it either. So with my new shopping. My new shop and stuff like that, I'll start carrying a few things, and the goal is to actually hire somebody to, not David too, because he's being used for other stuff, like for actually helping design products and things like that. So, but ultimately hire and get it to generate enough revenue so that I can actually hire someone to actually do all that work. Of packing, shipping, and handling the orders, and the logistics and stuff like that. So,
yeah, but even that's I don't even want to get to the point where like you're also using a contract manufacturer. I don't even want to do. I would if there was someone where I just put in a layout and a schematic and a BOM, and then it ships it to someone.
Well, we've had them on the show before.
No, I know what the plastics is. Yeah, macro. I mean, that was Macrofab and Circuit Hub and everybody else. Yeah, I mean, I get all that stuff, but even to the point where I want it to also have plastics and packaging and programming and
ultimately you can kind of do that, but there's work to set all that up. It doesn't just happen magically.
Yeah, I think what I'm really talking about is almost like a licensing type thing. I just want to.
Right, here's you just want to sell ideas. Why don't you just patent your ideas and go out and try and sell your bloody patents?
Yeah, patents.
That's what you want, you lazy ass.
Right. Maybe I'll buy someone else's patents, then I'll just prosecute those. What a great idea, Dave. Nathan Meervold, I'm coming for you, man. I have your job next.
He's just become a patent troll. All right, he's figured out that's lucrative business, right?
Pass.
Oh, dear. Anyway,
Yeah.
So yeah, like and the other thing with like the Shopify thing, like, it doesn't sound like much, 2.9%, 3%, right? Doesn't sound like, but when the bill comes at the end of the month, it's gone. Like I'm just selling one product, right? And then I get a bill from Shopify. It's like, oh, a couple $100. There's another couple $100 a month. I'm paying $400 for internet, and I'm paying $300 a month for a server. I'm paying, like, it all adds up.
Nickels and dimes, man. You're thinking nickels and dimes. I'm thinking dollars.
But that's the thing, right? So let's say you have a reasonable store, right? With half a dozen products or whatever, and your bill from Shopify, and it's reasonably successful. Your bill from Shopify could be $500 a month, right? That's right. That's $5,000-6,000 a year, right? Easily, even if you have a half successful Shopify store. Right, and
I don't know, man.
With that $5,000 or $6,000, that buys you, a fair bit of, program to set up your own, website with your own store, and then you don't pay any commission to them, So and you do that once, and then you can start saving money. You're not actually forking money out, so.
I guess so. I think it's always a balance of
each to their own.
Yeah.
I'd just rather not keep paying them. If it's just a matter of setting up, like I've done this before. I've set up my own shopping cart. I had my own shopping cart on my own website. And I actually I went to all the effort to set it up. It was a bit clunky, how it operated. And then it didn't work with the new e-parcel system that I got and stuff like that. So I went to Shopify. But now, I want to go back to my own shopping cart system. So,
meh.
Yeah, no, you can't. No, right? Okay.
I think they don't even care about that stuff at all. You know what I mean?
No, exactly. You're not in that business, right?
Right.
You're in the contextual electronics business, which is getting into embedded. Is it?
That's
not?
right.
Did I just see a tweet? Tell us about that. What and how? What, how, why?
Well, you may remember a couple. God, was it? Hopefully weeks ago. I think it might have been months ago now. But I did ask on here if there was people that were interested. And there was great response, and I do appreciate everyone that. Yeah, I think it was like a dozen or two people that responded, which is really, really nice. I do appreciate that from everyone. And the reason is because I don't know about you, but have you designed a product recently that was just hardware, just like analog, not analog hardware?
Potentially, yes.
Oh, I guess so. Yeah, I guess no. Yeah, you did the microcurrent doesn't have any programmable parts on board.
No. But no, I've done other things. I've got other projects in the pipeline that don't have any smarts in them.
Okay.
But I definitely know where you're going. It's not common these days.
It's not common. You're right. It's very
because it's so cheap and easy to add intelligence with a little 50-cent micro, right?
And not even intelligence. Like just looking at microcontrollers these days, like just in terms of the value you get, in terms of what they're piling into these things, like it's almost absurd. Like the fact that you can get a DAC and an ADC and multiple I/O and timers.
The thing.
I mean, like everything you get.
I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example, right? In my microcurrent, for example, I've got like a low battery detect LED, right? And I'm actually using a TI chip, which has like a fixed, it's got a comparator and a voltage reference in it, and it's a fixed level. So you can buy like different voltage levels parts of this chip, right?
Yeah.
You just put, a few things on the end of the part number and you buy a different voltage level, right? That's actually not a relatively cheap part. It's actually
right. Yep.
It could turn out to be cheaper to actually buy one of those little SOT23 5-pin microchip micros, have it pre-programmed, and then you've got the ADC built in. You can actually do your own custom threshold level, and you can like flash the LED, when it gets low, and you can do like other little smart things like that.
Right. You could have some kind of feedback there, right? I mean, like you could have a mode where you plug in a multimeter and it outputs what the battery voltage is or something. Like that's tons of options, right?
Yep. Or you could PWM the LED to lower the current or something like that, and you could it's.
I mean, this is the basis. Like if you look at I think we talked about them on here. I think they're called logic blocks. They're from obviously, I'm a fanboy of linear technology and stuff like that, but like. They have one where it's just like they're like single, like they're like one shots. They have like a chip that just does a one shot. Where it's like like even that is like, come on, like 555 or like any other way of doing this. But it's what it is. It's like they're these tailor-made, very specific chips just to do these one functions, and then they charge like $3 or $4 a chip. You know, even that, like you can get a 50-cent 555 timer, or you can get a 50-cent micro, you know, and do a bunch of other stuff.
Exactly.
But you're actually, what you're paying for there in all of these cases, what you're paying for is the convenience of not worrying about code base and not worrying about programming, not worrying about anything except this single function, and it's worth it to people.
See, because that's the thing. The last thing you want to do is have like a low battery detect LED, like a pre-programmed micro to do that, and then somehow screw up the code for that. Like it's just like it's the stuff of nightmares, you know?
Right.
And it's like, oh no, I didn't think of that, and I don't know, the micro locks up because it doesn't have proper brownout protection or something, or blah blah blah, you know, and like there's some weird edge case scenario where it goes haywire or something, and you just like, and all you wanted to do was do a low battery LED, you know, which you could have done with a bloody, you know, a comparator and you know, and it would have just worked. Like you could bet your life that it's going to work, right? You know, I can bet my life
like
that this TI chip is going to,
or like the space shuttle levels of guarantee, right? You know,
of guarantee. That's right. I can bet my life that this TI chip is going to work for the low battery detect LED.
Right.
You know.
Right.
Whereas you always worry that you're going to screw up the code if I change that to a micro. You know?
Yeah, of course. But I think that oftentimes the reason behind this whole thing was, by the way, as well, I looked it up. It's timer blocks. That's what the LT part is.
Right.
So same kind of thing, like one shot and signal delay and power and reset, stuff like that.
Is that chip of the week?
Actually, I have sure, yes, timer blocks. Chip of the, I had another one, but this is probably better. So
right.
But yeah, they're ridiculous. Chip of the week. For the wrong reasons.
Right. Timer blocks, BLOX.
Yeah, the marketing. Right. Yeah.
Oh, God.
But I mean, the thing is, like, so for all this stuff, it makes sense to utilize, like, the crazy amount. I mean, like, and I'm talking, like, so the things that I'm looking at designing in, it's not just designing in, like, a centralized micro platform. It's like I'm putting them on everything now. My goal is less than $1 per chip. On everything, and these are 32-bit Cortex M0 Plus type or M0.
Oh, right. Oh, you're going that route, are you? But they're even cheaper if you go for an 8-bit pick. And you can get them in little SOT 23 packages.
You're totally right about that, but this is actually also an exercise in learning about ARM and stuff like that, because there's not a lot of because it's kind of like so for me, right, I'm bringing people on that are helping me with this, but like for me, that stuff scares the hell out of me, you know, like, but it's what it is, you know, like for a long time I've talked about, ARM, it's like the only, but like, honestly, I don't see any other way forward. So why not just ride that wave, baby? You know, like, and
cost. Once again, it cost and package simplicity. There's a lot, still a lot. There will always be a lot to be said for that.
You're totally right on that, but this is about the march of technology, that the low ends of ARMs are only going to keep getting cheaper, and it's about learning the tool chains.
But they're not going to put them in a SOT 23.5 package.
Yeah, that's true, but I don't. The stuff I want to do is actually more than just that SOT 23.5 functionality. So
okay.
So I mean, that's why. Like, so it's like having a centralized processor, but then also every motor has an encoder, it has a driver, and then it has a micro to measure everything on board at the time.
Right.
So like that kind of thing, and then just sending back an abstracted signal.
Right.
You know, like so. Yeah, of course. It's really a learning exercise, to be honest. It's and that's the real reason that I want to do a lot of this stuff. But the reason I brought people on is because I have no idea what I'm
you
doing.
have no idea how to program an ARM.
Right. Yeah. So one of the things I'm excited about it, though, not to this isn't a commercial, but this is actually just because other things that are interesting that people that the people working with me brought to the table. There's a thing called Vagrant. Have you ever heard of Vagrant before?
No.
It's actually it's a Ruby based. I think it's a program.
You've already lost me.
Okay, so have you heard of VirtualBox before? You know VirtualBox?
Yes, I've heard of it. Yes.
Yeah, so VirtualBox is basically a platform for having a virtual machine. So I can have, unlike my Windows machine, I can have an install of Ubuntu, right? So Linux-based
Right.
and stuff like that. And I did that for a long time just to have a centralized version of KiCad on there. But Vagrant, what it does is it works with VirtualBox, and then it goes out and there's a script you can run that basically goes out and installs everything. So now it's like one click, and then 2 hours later, anyone who installs it has the version of KiCad I have. They have all of the libraries, all of the Eclipse type stuff. Like just starting from that sweet starting place where everybody's the same.
Yep. And it doesn't ruin their machine because it's a VirtualBox.
Exactly.
Right.
So I'm really pumped about that kind of thing too, just because
that's pretty good.
That's a shitty part of starting up with any embedded any software project is just like dependencies and all that stuff. So
yeah, no, that's in fact it's almost unworkable. You can't do a course like. Have you ever been on these courses, like you go to, a National Instruments course or whatever, right? You're sitting in the classroom, they've got like the 20 computers there, and there's always something wrong with, this machine doesn't work because blah,
Right, exactly.
And, try this one over here, and, I think it's got the right stuff that makes it work,
Right, exactly. That is exactly the same experience I've had. Actually, I had that with, when I was working at Samsung, we used to go to trainings, and they would have like the interfaces for these machines, the fab machines, like the dry etch stuff that I worked on. They would have them installed on computers, and those never worked either. And that was the entire basis of the training was just where to click.
Yeah,
it was like,
yep. So painful.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So yeah, I'm excited. So another thing I just wrote about the kind of moving away from Arduino as well. Like, I love Arduino. I use it all the time.
Right, yeah.
But, like, there's need for more than that, right?
No, I mean, real custom, it's...
Yeah, I mean, like, getting to that point where it's like, okay, I need to build... Like, you can build a thing, and you can build a lot of a thing with an Arduino, right? You see this a lot on Kickstarter, stuff like that. But if you want to build a long-term thing where you're not dependent on something else, like, you need to dig in. You need to have low-level code and stuff like that. Like... You need to kind of move to that next level. So that's the real reason.
Right.
This segment brought to you by Contextual Electronics.
Exactly the same reason why I want my own shopping cart instead of Shopify.
Yeah, actually, that actually is a really good example. I mean, it's like about where where your control, where the control happens. You could pay someone else or depend on someone else, but ultimately, the trade-off is the time to get something implemented and then having control over it, or getting something up quickly and then not having control over it.
And not having control. Exactly. It's exactly the same thing.
And even with these, like the timer blocks chip, same kind of thing, right? It's
totally.
Like with getting it up quickly is to, just using a chip, dropping it in there, that's a no-brainer. Or you can go, even using a 555 will take more time than... because you have to figure out your values and stuff like that.
Those timer block chips, when I was working in a production type environment, we need 10 of these production test jigs. I'm not going to dick around doing anything. I'm going to buy. I don't care if this chip's $20 a pop.
Exactly.
No one's going to care, right? I'm just going to drop that chip in because it works.
Yep.
I don't want to have to do the design documentation to and breadboard
design
and prototype.
Documentation. Here's your data sheet. Go.
That's it. And guaranteed it works. So I'm not going to look like an idiot when I can't produce the thing by the end of next week like I promised.
Exactly.
Because there was some snag I didn't think of because I'm trying to do it all myself. No, screw that. It was very common to do that in the environment I used to work in when we needed 10 or 20 or something or one of something,
Yeah.
It's just
And that totally makes sense. So it's kind of that balance point and figuring out where it is. I mean, like we even see this for like so we talked to remember Colin was on the show, and I think about this because they just released they started a new Kickstarter, so the late or punch through just putting out a new one. But remember Colin was talking. Were you on when he was here?
I can't remember. I've done too many shows. My brain is...
Yeah, so the light blue bean, that little Bluetooth board.
Oh, right. Don't know. I'm not sure if I was there for that.
That didn't help at all. He's getting older, folks. He's getting older. So Colin talked about it, because they also... The reason they started making the bean was actually because they were developing the Bluetooth module like there's all these modules you can get, Bluetooth and Wi-Fi and everything else.
Yeah.
The reason that Punch Through was making the module was because of their consulting business. They wanted to make it once and then sell it to everyone. If you get to a certain point where you have to buy 10,000 of the modules from Punch Through, it's probably worth it to go and use the chip that they have internally there. I think it was a CC2540,
right. Yeah,
and then just get it
Yeah.
Certified. Go through all the same crap they had to go through.
Right.
And it's always about that. If you're using a mod, who was the other guy that we had on from? Oh crap! I'm sorry.
We've had too many guests.
Too many guests. Oh, I'm totally blanking. You had the glove. Remember the Bluetooth glove? Oh.
You're right. Yes.
God,
I know.
I'm gonna catch it from him on Twitter for this one,
Right.
or test if he's listening. But he said the same thing too. Just that balance point between when do you have a module and when do you choose a module when you're designing electronics versus when do you go all the way in. And we see this the same thing. It's not just RF; it's also power, right? A lot of
there's a value. Yeah, there's a value point. Sometimes, like as I said, when I was making 10, 20, or 100 or something, I was a big fan of those power brick modules. The piece of, like just the bare module. You can buy them from TI and others, and you just plug them in. And there's your DC to DC converter done.
Right? Why would you possibly Why would you possibly go all the way in? And you're right. It's like, who gives a crap?
I've got to go in and choose the right inductor. I've got to choose the right caps. I've got to read the data sheets. I've got to lay out the bloody DC to DC converter properly so that I don't want to do that for 10 boards.
Right, exactly.
Screw that. I just buy those modules are so expensive. They're like $50 a pop or something, but who cares?
Right. Yeah,
right?
and so
this is big business.
So is a half hour of your time, right?
Exactly. That's right.
Yeah. I mean, because it's also you have to go through and you have to. It's not just about reading the data sheets and getting the right values and stuff like that. It's also you have to go manufacture it and get it done. And even if it's standard, even if you wrote out like, okay, here's how it is. It's 10 hours. I charge $100 an hour, and here's the part cost, everything else. As soon as you make a single mistake, then your budget's blown. It's
That's
just
right.
you're buying, and you and I were talking about this a little bit before the show too. What you're buying is the right to yell at someone. Honestly, that's what it is. You're buying the right that something should work,
or blame someone else. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. If it doesn't work, you're gonna yell and you're gonna kick and you're gonna scream until they send you the brand new module that does work. And honestly, that's what you're paying for, and that's true across software, hardware, anything like that.
Yeah.
And
it's just easier to assemble. Like a 5-pin through-hole power brick is much easier to solder than some little QFN bloody package with all the individual inductors and the resistors and the transistors, everything else. Oh man, it's like Because I'm the one who's going to have to make those boards, those 5 or 10 boards, right? We're not going to send those out to a subcontractor just to do that.
Right, exactly.
Right?
Yeah. So then you could go acid etch them in the company versus sending them to Osh Park or sending them to wherever and get quick turn type stuff. Yeah,
those were the days I was working for a large military contract. I'd etch my own boards. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
why wouldn't you? I mean, if you needed you value speed over you value,
right? Yeah.
Fit and finish type stuff, right? So, who cares? Yeah.
Well, this was back in the day. We're talking like early 90s, right? When like custom boards took forever and they were like $1,000.
I see.
Right? It's not. It isn't like today.
Yeah.
Right. So, totally different world. Right?
Yep.
Oh, goodness.
Well, yeah, I don't know, man. So you were talking about designing DC to DCs, stuff like that, right? And I started doing something on the subreddit, and I recommend other people do the same. I just said proposed topic because I kind of wanted to talk about this. But do you know how to explain switching converters without math?
Yeah, I've done a video on this. I actually showed. It's a very popular video. It's got like 100,000 views. I showed how switching converters are actually almost exactly like linear regulators.
What?
They're almost exactly the same.
You're full of it.
I'm not full of it. Go watch my video and you'll see.
No, I've talked to you for 5 years now, Dave. You are full of it.
And it's actually the same topology as a linear regulator, except it switches and it stores the energy as an inductor in the inductor to in the magnetic field
I
to
see.
actually do
Right.
that. But you go watch the video, and I was quite proud of that video, how I sort of made the and a lot of people thank me for that, going, "Oh, thank you, I finally understand switching regulators. They're not magic, mysterious things. They are. It's exactly the same topology
Yeah.
as a linear regulator.
Yeah, you just mean like it's a control
you switch
system,
it.
and
Yep, except you switch it, like you actually insert a switch and you switch it on
Right.
and off, and you add an
right.
inductor to store the thing. That's
Yeah, so I did use
Yep,
that same
I'll
thing
link
about it. I think it's very nebulous to talk about storing energy in a magnetic field, but if you kind of like hand wave past that, you're like, it's gonna be there when you come back, like.
I don't think so. I think people can understand that a magnetic field can store.
I guess so.
energy.
Yeah, I guess people
I-
understand
you know.
magnets, and like if you've held a magnet before, you understand there's forces there, and there's
Yeah.
I guess so.
I think people get that. I had no problems with people going, "Oh, but I don't understand the inductor part of it." I don't think
Really,
I
because
ever
I
had
say
a
that stuff
single
all the
comment like that.
time.
Right.
Inductors scare the crap out of me.
Right.
Not like scared,
Anyway, I
but, you
thought
know.
that was a good approach to actually teach teach switching regulators like that, because everyone can understand how a linear regulator works, right?
right,
It's a pass transistor with a feedback amplifier in it.
Right,
you know,
right.
like you can explain that easily, and people kind of get it. And then, I used exactly the same thing. So, we'll link
Well,
it in down below. Watch it.
I did not watch that, so that's a good one.
Yeah, it's a real old one. It's like number 30 or something.
Oh,
you know.
really? That old? Okay.
Like 20 or 30. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's one of a shocking
Back
quality.
in the day, huh? Back when you
Back
were
in the day, shot with my
doing the Lord's work. Yep.
shot with my DV cam, my tape based
Nice.
DV cam in PAL, in 570 by what was it 720 by 570. No, sorry, 576 line PAL resolution.
Oh man.
Onto tape, and then I had to use FireWire connection to extract it from the DV tape camcorder. Oh yeah.
Oh, good times, good times. You know what I
Good
what I
times,
miss
yeah.
about the old videos is the 10-minute time limit.
Yes, it made me. I remember my first. I think it was my first video was like 9 minutes and 59 seconds. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
right.
I had to go in there and edit. Like I had to take out one frame from here, one frame from there. Because I had to get it under that 10-minute.
That'll be
mark.
something where it's like someday you'll be like sitting Sagan down and Huxley down. And be like, now listen in, kids. Let me tell you about the time when YouTube was limited to 10 minutes. And if you wanted to watch a pirated clip of Saving Private Ryan, you watched it in 4 different stages.
yeah, that's right. Yep. And
the good
then
old
they would
days.
only allow longer videos for partners. Everyone I had to answer like an email every day. How do you upload videos longer than 10 minutes? I'm a partner. How do you become a partner? Well, back then they had to invite you. You just had to sit back, produce content, and they'll finally come to you and say, "Hey, we kind of like your videos. Would you like to be a partner?" And then it's like, now let's give it to every bloody Tom, Dick, and Harry.
Seriously.
You
Even
know?
Chris has it.
Yep. Yeah, I know. It's, what's the world coming to?
Yeah.
Boy.
Yeah, so it's episode, I think it was 90, actually. I just searched for it.
Oh, is it
so.
really 90?
That's what it says. Linear and LDO regulators and switch mode power supplies tutorial. So 90. That's 90.
Really?
Yeah,
90. Okay.
Can't even remember
Linear
your own
and
videos.
yeah. Okay. Yes, it is. It is number 90. Sorry. I may have actually upgraded to a digital camera at that point.
Yeah. And
Like
you
a-
have your intro here with Altium as well. I remember this too, man. Like it's like flash times,
the Altium.
flashbacks.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so
If people don't know how I did that, I used one of those Space Navigator controls. One of those 3D Space Navigators.
Yeah,
They're called.
Yep.
For like everyone at Altium had one. Like every employee had a
I've seen
Space
this more
Navigator.
in 3D CAD usually, like in the
Right, yeah. And the way I spun the board and animated that, Altium I think now has Altium Designer has an animation feature, but back then it didn't, right? So I was actually manually spinning that thing around with my hand with the Space Navigator while capturing the screen, and that's why it's kind of like a bit jerky, but I was like so good at it that I could actually rotate this thing and make it look like an animation,
Right. Yeah.
And anyway, that was a board I designed at Altium. That was one of the plug-in boards. I think that was hang on, let me have a look. Let me have a look at the bloody ads. Hang on. I've got to get rid of pesky ads. Here it is. Blah, blah, blah. It's spinning around. What board is that? That's the... that's got the Vertex 5 on it. That's got the $1,500 Vertex 5 at the time, which was the leading edge FPGA. Yeah, it was like $1,500 a chip, and
wasn't that one? I know that Philip did the 4. Remember when Philip was on the show, Philip Frieden? I think he had a hand in the 5 as well. I thought he said that. Maybe
okay, right. Anyway, I don't know what Vertex are up to now, but anyway, the Vertex 5 that had just come out, and whatever, and Artix or something. I don't know. And so that was the Duck Scarts, and they were $1,500, and that was like a low end Vertex 5 at $1,500 or something, you know.
Yeah, right. The smallest set of gates internally. Yep.
Yeah. And that one had the gigabit Ethernet, which had just came out at the time, or it was a big thing, you know, it was becoming big, you know, everyone was moving to this gigabit Ethernet. So they had gigabit Ethernet transceivers on it, and that was tricky business. Had to do bit error rate testing, had to put custom test scripts in the FPGA to do, BERT testing, as it's called. Yep. BERT and Ernie. BERT bit error rate testing on the Ethernet, you know, the gigabit Ethernet, and you could actually see the differences in your controlled impedance traces going to the connector, what difference that would make in the bit error rate, like the long term over a week. You know, you could actually, it'd be like kind of like aggregating errors, basically. That's not the idea. Yep.
Oh, interesting.
Yep. And it was fascinating.
That's cool.
So
the reason I wanted to bring this up is because I saw a tweet from you a while back. Oh, yeah.
I tend to tweet a lot. Yeah.
You do tend to tweet. This tweet said that you will not be using Circuit Maker.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's switching to KiCad, folks.
Well, there was no other choice.
We'll see.
Like, because David, too, was working on the new micro supply. Right, and like Altium just crashed, and he lost his work for like the 4th time, and
Ouch.
It's like, and every time I try, like I haven't lost work in it because I haven't tried to do serious work in Circuit Maker yet. But like every time I get, like if I leave it open, then I go back to it, it's always locked up. It's like just it was like, but he's lost work like 3-4 times in a row, like lost an hour. You know, it's cloud based. You're supposed to have confidence that it saves your work, you know, all the time. Like you don't have to go in there and click save. It's like it's
so it's not actually sending it up to the server. It's something. I mean that's a bug.
Anyway,
really.
It's it's a bug, and they'll solve it. But it just pissed us off, and we went like this is just stupid.
Time to dig in. Time to learn KiCad.
And we're both like fluent in Altium Designer, right? It's both our. And it doesn't support the key cards, and we're going, and he's going, it's so slow to lay out the board and do stuff.
It doesn't support the what, you said?
It doesn't support the hotkeys.
Oh, really? Oh,
Did I say hotkeys?
Circuit Maker.
The shortcut keys. Circuit Maker doesn't support the Altium shortcut keys.
I remember someone talking. I think it might have been you talking about that.
And they're thinking about changing, or they may have. I don't know, but it's just stupid, And so we just went, well, look, this is unproductive. I don't care if it's a beta, it's unproductive. And, we need to be productive. So we just went, well, screw it. David too switched to KiCad, which he hasn't used before. And within an hour, I think, an hour and a half, he said, I made a circuit and a little board, and he said, it was fairly easy.
He
wasn't
said,
too bad at
what
all.
a great resource the KiCad.info forum is.
Right. No.
No? Okay.
Sorry. No, he doesn't know that it exists.
Actually, some of the devs started showing up on there, so that's been interesting. So.
Yeah.
But yeah,
right.
No, it's good. That's great.
Right.
I'm excited.
Anyway, so I'm yet to install it again. And
well, if you want, you could try out this Vagrant script at some point and finally learn Linux as well.
No, I want to do it. No, I want to do it the real. No, I want to use the Windows version. Do it the real way.
Do it the real way. That's another thing I wanted to talk about. Have you switched over to Windows 10 yet?
No, I tried at home. It popped up and said you can now download it. So I went, okay, yeah, all right, I'll do it at home. No, I wasn't game to do it at the office, right? So yeah, I'll do it on the home because if it screws up the home machine, it's not the end of the world, right? So yeah, I download, install. Okay, no worries. Fail. I actually tweeted this. Some stupid error message about some boot partition is not compatible. Can't install. Bugger off. Go away.
Sucks.
Yeah, and it's like apparently this is common. And everyone goes, oh, yeah, it's shit to install, and yet there's another half of the planet which says, oh, yeah, it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, Windows 10.
I was in the who cares. Right? I just bought a fresh computer, so it's fine.
Is it free? Did it come with Windows 10 or is it free for new computers? How does it work?
It was Windows 8.1. I just clicked as soon as I booted it.
Oh, you just clicked in it and it worked.
It installed it. Yeah. So I was more wondering about because so obviously I've moved between Linux versions a bunch.
Yep.
And there's usually some problems there. I've moved between Mac versions now. I've moved between. I haven't moved since Windows 7. There's always just some crap that hangs around.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering if you had done it. I'd be curious if other people had as well.
There is. Well, what you need to do is join the EEV blog forum thread about Windows 10 compatibility with various EE programs and stuff like that. Somebody has started a thread to talk about, limit it to how does it affect us?
Okay. Perfect. That's exactly what I was looking for. Yeah. So, because what do I care about? I care about LT Spice. I care about KiCad, but I can put that into a VM. I care about VirtualBox, right? I care about if I'm not doing anything in if I was doing Eclipse or something like that on Windows, making sure drivers for serial type stuff, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So
does the Arduino still work? With its virtual serial driver and all that sort of jazz. Yeah. Yeah, because my tool chains still work?
Right, and it's really more. I'm more scared about stuff that's I haven't had legacy stuff in a while, but just keeping around. What was the one?
Legacy stuff.
Yeah, so I used to use DX Designer. I think I mentioned on here before.
Right.
And when I moved from 7, or I was trying to move between machines, and I upgraded, and it just made me incompatible with everyone else that hadn't upgraded yet. It was one of those type of things, and it was just I don't mind sticking behind a software version. I'll stay on Windows 7 forever. Right. I don't care, or XP. I don't care. But it's just kind of just knowing, that kind of stuff is what really matters. So,
I don't. Yeah, I don't know, because I like Windows 7. It just works. I have no issues with Windows 7. It never crashes. I never locks up. Never get the blue screen of death. Virtually never. It's it's just so rock solid.
Yeah, it's just over time, right? But. Right. Did start like that? None of them start like that.
No, Well, apparently Windows 8 is horrible, right?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. But yeah, it affects us a lot, right? Just from a usability type of thing, just it can eat a couple minutes of your day each day, and then that adds up over time type of thing.
So that's why I wanted to do it at home, get used to it. It doesn't affect me, and then I'll do it at the lab here, because I don't want to do it at the lab, and risk,
right,
screwing everything up, right?
Right, you're recording stuff with your cell phone directly uploaded to YouTube. You're like, day 27, still can't get anything onto YouTube.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, this is my business. I can't afford to, dick around and waste, days because my tool chains don't work anymore and my processors don't work anymore because I changed operating systems. Screw that.
Yeah.
It's anyway, I don't know. But yeah, it just didn't work. So now I'm going, oh, well, screw Windows 10. It did. I thought it just would work. Right.
Didn't work the first time perfectly. This is just like the watch all over again, Dave, right?
The watch?
The out-of-box experience of the watch.
Oh, the Pebble, right.
Yeah,
right. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, no. I don't know. So, yeah, that really, put me off Windows 10 for a while. Apparently you've got a year to accept your free upgrade or something, something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. But, anyway.
I'm happy you're going to eventually try KiCad. I know you've tried it once before. KiCad, I don't care.
Yeah, I tried it once before for 30 minutes, and Anyway, I'll install it. Yeah, like because there was no other choice. Like, what else am I going to go to, right? Like, I'm not going to go to Eagle. It's a paid package. Screw that, right?
Right.
Eagle, like if you want to do a single-sided board greater than 15 centimeters long, you have to pay $1,000. Screw that.
Right, because you're also you're commercial and stuff like that.
And it's commercial, right? So screw that, right? So it's not a viable option for open source hardware. Unless you're specifically only doing boards under 15 centimeters long.
I think you can do two-sided, right? You can do two-sided.
You can do double-sided, right? Yeah. But anything, once it goes over 15 centimeters long, you've got to buy. It doesn't matter who you are. You've got to buy the, $1,000 package.
Well,
or you can buy the non-commercial package, right? But meh.
Well, and I think that the same thing applies
for it,
that we talked about earlier, though, right? I mean, we did talk about the idea. Like, I don't want to contradict what we said earlier because it is true. With KiCad, you don't have anyone to yell at, right? With Eagle, you do, right? I mean, you have
yes, of course,
paid support, stuff like that. Like, and sometimes that's really valuable. I mean, it really is. So, So nothing against that. It's just that,
And anyway, and Eagle seems to be like, with Farnell Element 14, teeing up with Altium for their, Circuit Studio.
Just come up with that?
Circus Studio.
You just came up with that, huh?
Yep, Circus Studio. And like, it's just like, I can see Eagle maybe not eventually die, but like less and less resources until it withers away kind of, thing. And it's no, so I wasn't going to go there. I'm not going to go to DipTrace because once again, it's got limited, even though I like DipTrace, it's got limited, free stuff.
I've heard that DipTrace is the closest to Windows bindings, like in terms of key binding type stuff. Like it
works as you expect. DipTrace, like you can open up DipTrace and it kind of works as you expect it should work.
Right. And Upverter similarly as well. I think Upverter's close on that stuff as well, except
but I'm not going to do a web. I'm not going to choose a bloody like an entire web one. The reason I chose Altium is because it's Altium. Right, like I've been using Altium for 20 years. Right, it's so I thought I'd give it a go, and it just didn't come through for me. But and there was, there are other unlimited free ones out there, like the I can never remember the name of it, but the one that Mousecell one. Comes from who's the company? Bloody hell!
Aspen, is that the one? I mean, there's one that.
But one systems. There's one for Aspen. Have released one now.
Yeah. Because they have the one. The DigiKey one is through Aspen, I believe.
The DigiKey one is the Mentor one, isn't it? I think the Mouser one is from Number One Systems or something.
I think Mentor is... Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Anyway.
There's a lot of other ones. Yeah, of course.
RS Components is the free one from Number One Systems, I think.
Okay.
So Number One System, it's free and it's unlimited, right? Gotcha. Go for your life. And it's you can use it for commercial, I think. But it's... but nobody uses it, right? It's like, I don't want to be the lone person out in the wilderness bloody using this, thing from bloody RS Components, right?
Yeah.
It's like, so really the only option left, KiCad. All right, so be it,
Did I ever tell you my story about being out in the wilderness?
No.
Not actually.
I didn't think you left the lab.
No, I don't. This is actually about...
It's a metaphor.
Buying components. I don't go to the wilderness. I'm not like you, Dave.
Right.
No. This is about. So I was designing in a connector, and like terminal block connectors, how there's different pitches and stuff like that.
Yep.
And I found this connector I really, really liked, and it was available in 5mm pitch. And this is actually a U.S. versus Europe type thing.
Right. Yep.
And it's like terminal blocks are, bigger type things. If you've ever seen like Phoenix, Weidmuller, all those guys, they all make these things, yeah. Of course, test engineering, right? You know about that, right?
Oh, yeah, I know these intimately, yes.
Right. And so at some point I found like a perfect connector. This is a story I've told in different forms because I've had this happen to me more than once, sadly. But I get to the point where it's like... I find this perfect connector. Okay, I'm like, all right, we're going with it. Get it designed into plastic, stuff like that. and then it was enough pins that so it was. I chose the 5mm connector. They told me like, oh
Right.
yeah, everybody carries these kind of things. 5mm connectors, yeah, no problem. Everybody does it, right? It's huge in Europe. And then I go and find out, no, actually, everyone's standardized on the 5.08mm, which is
Right.
0.2 millimeter, or 0.2 inch.
Which is the imperial 0.2
Right.
inch.
And it's just close enough. And so then the connectors that I chose were 16 pin, and so it was just enough that
right.
if you had a 2-pin connector, it would fit.
Adds up. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
but if you had 16, it wouldn't
The
fit.
other ones, it doesn't.
And
Yep.
by the time I finally figured this out, and I talked to like all of the big vendors about whether or not they actually carry the 5mm, and they said no. I had already gotten it designed into our plastics.
Yeah, nice.
And it was way
Good work.
too late. And I was out in the
Yep.
wilderness, and basically like
As in the plastic cutout, the cutout
exactly
window
like
for the
the
connector,
place
right.
where that connector or two of those connectors
Right.
actually fit.
And because you were using the 5mm, when you went to 5.08, the plastics were the window was then too small
Exactly.
to move to the.
Even if I would have switched over,
rather than
it
if it was
wouldn't
the
have
other
fit.
way around, you would have been fine because you would have had a
Right.
gap at the end, right?
Right.
And
it was
would have
just like a comedy of
Right.
errors. Oh my god.
yeah.
So then I was out in the wilderness with like one outpost that was able to offer me a part, and better hope that it doesn't show up late. Oh my god. It was
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yep.
my mistakes, folks, are your opportunities for learning.
Standard imperial 0.1.
Oh my God.
0.1 pitch.
Why did they
0.1
even-
pitch,
why
as
did-
it's called in the trade, not 0.1 inch. 0.1. 0.1 pitch.
Right. Why did they
You know.
even allow that to happen though? That's what I want to know. Like I get
you
that
know.
it's close, but like 5
But I
and
thought, like,
5.08.
Yeah, but don't DigiKey and Mouser carry both the imperial and the metric type of like the Phoenix
Yeah, they
you know,
do.
pitches?
They do. Yeah. No, that's
type
true.
pitches?
But basically on all of the other requirements that I had in my design, like how the
Oh, your
stuff
perfect
needed to be-
connector, right? Your
exactly.
Holy Grail connector.
How it
yep.
needed to be angled, and then the type of thing that plugged
Right,
in.
okay. Yeah, right.
Ugh. I
Wah, 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 wah.
let me tell you about connectors, Dave. Yeah, it's terrible. Oh,
goodness.
it's terrible.
Yep.
I
Yep.
hate connectors. It's.
I feel
you know,
your
I've,
pain.
I've talked to people about this too. Like, so you know, I mentor people on the course and stuff like that too, and stuff like that. And we've talked about cabling, things like that. Like, my number one thing is always like, if you can avoid connectors, if you can avoid cables, if you could just solder two boards together, because you know, with like castellated
right,
edges,
right.
anything like
Yeah,
that, do everything you can
Yes,
to,
absolutely.
to avoid interconnects, because I mean, before
No,
you
things like having external battery and then having wires come over and a connector on it. No, get a PCB mount battery holder. Get right angle PCB connectors. Make it all. Yep,
right.
totally.
And it's like the thing that's most frustrating about it to me is like I like the product I was just talking about. Like, so we had like a 90 nanometer FPGA on board. You know, it's got 90 nanometer process. It's got thousands of gates. It's programmed with huge amounts of processing on the computer with the software and everything like that. What, $5? And then it's like, stupid piece of shit plastic connector, $6. And I'm looking at
yeah,
and I'm looking at it, I'm just like,
Yeah.
this is 5 and this is 6. This is wrong. I understand economics.
It's a piece of folded metal and some injection molded
It's
plastic.
like, screw you guys. I get it, but like, screw you. Like, the complexity just does not compare. And like,
like, how many orders of magnitude complexity difference is it? It's like,
yeah,
massive. It's
it's infuriating
millions
levels
of times.
difference.
It's like
Yeah.
it's like 10 orders of magnitude or something.
Yeah.
Like
I had a friend that was a sales guy too, and he's like, so he was in the silicon side, so he wasn't quite as happy, but he came and he's like, Chris, do you know how frustrating it is to look at other industries where they get to raise their prices, and every 18 months we have to have ours?
halve it. Yeah, right. Well, no, you don't halve them. You just have to double the number of
Yeah, right, exactly.
transistors on board, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like,
Yeah, I know.
and he was saying that because he was making his living on that, right? There is no fixed cost in silicon, right? Every year it changes,
Right.
and Man, I can't understand that. That would be super frustrating. But but I bet those connector guys, I had a lot of good connector guys too, and they're nice. They're nice Midwest dudes. But once they got their sales, they went home to their golf courses and their nice homes, and there wasn't a whole lot of support needed.
Right.
Oh, you found what connector you needed? Yeah, so just keep buying those for the next 20 years. And we're all good here.
Oh, goodness.
Weird industry we live in here, Dave. Weird industry.
Nika, why? Why are we in this freaking godforsaken industry? Why?
For me, it tickles my brain in that way.
Right.
I think it's the same for you. It's just like it's.
Yeah, of course. I've been doing it since I was 5 years old. Yeah.
I know.
I don't know anything else.
It's a little bit magic. It's a little bit crazy. I think the thing that gets to me is just the business. Like when the business stuff kind of folds into it, right? Because, like I said, like the fact that a connector 6...
It loses the fun. Yeah, when the business... Yeah, when you have to do it for a business, it loses the fun aspect.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, okay, making money. Yeah, like making money as an electrical engineer. Like, yeah, I agree with that. But I just mean like just the economic side of things, right? Like...
Right.
The fact that I have to make decisions based on money, on final cost of the thing. It's not... so like on the hobby side of things, like the thing I'm designing for contextual electronics, we're not really cost constrained, right? And other stuff I've done for myself, it's never cost constrained. It's more about interest constrained. How much time do I want to spend on this? How much am I willing to struggle with this thing? But when you start making decisions based on cost, you got to do some weird stuff. Like you have to choose parts you might not have chosen otherwise, deal with companies you might not have dealt with otherwise. You know what I mean? Like.
You start changing your topology, your specs. You start changing. You start compromising everywhere. Yep.
So, yeah,
it sucks.
It does suck. I mean, like I still feel very very grateful for the fact that I get to work on this stuff. But
although sometimes I can find that the fun. I don't mind like a cost optimization process. In fact, sometimes I find it enjoyable. Oh look, I can re-engineer this thing to save 20 cents, right? That can have its fun aspect too, right?
Right, but that's usually after the fact of that's like a add-on. Like this thing already works.
Right.
Now what can I do with it? Because I really like this product. It's not like, well, the first thing I'm going to do is maybe I guess some people do that, right? They go with the 5-pin pick 8-bit type of thing, but not. I think that's a little bit different. I don't know. It's just a funky industry. It's a funky industry. So
people get enjoyment in different ways. People's boats get floated in different ways.
It's true.
Yep. Some people just love bomb optimization. It's like, gets them all moist.
I've never met that person. I have to say,
right.
Yeah, that's a messy thing.
Yep. No, and some people just love bleeding edge, damn the cost kind of thing, and other people
right. Or
like,
I think
like designing things to fit. It's as small as I can get it. And look at how wonderful fit to envelope design I've got. I enjoy that. It's one of
we should have like classifications of like what kind of kink are you as an electronics designer? Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I'm totally into tiny things.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, me? No. I like big packages, and I cannot lie. Yeah. No, that is kind of interesting because you're right. There is a lot of and then you get like the weirdos, like the Ben Krasnos of the world. Like, I want to see if I can mess with physics.
Right.
I'm gonna break some physics laws today. Yeah.
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
You can't break the laws of physics, dude.
You can ignore some of them for a little while, but yeah.
No, you just play around the edges.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah.
To burst that bubble for you, but, yep. You cannot beat the laws of physics, Captain. Sorry, I can't do a Scottish accent.
No, yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
Last thing I wanted to talk about, I've been Well, maybe not the last thing, but one thing I wanted to talk about.
It's close to the last. Come on.
It's close.
Make it snappy. Let's go. Come on.
So I was thinking about. So I've been cleaning up my lab because I just got this new computer, and I've been shuffling a bunch of stuff around, and I got to the point where like I have, just dev boards laying around, and it's not like I don't want people writing in and be like, oh, send me your dev boards because these are not pretty. These have been hacked and there's solder blobs all over that kind of thing. Like these are not. No one wants these kind of things, or like I have a Tech 425 scope that I'm getting rid of, because it didn't work when it came to me, and I always told myself I'd fix it, kind of thing.
Fix it, and you never did. Yeah,
of course, yeah, right. Yep. And so I started thinking about it though, like I don't want to throw this stuff out though, and I started thinking about recycling, and I started thinking also about the fact that you and I both talk about how we love leaded solder because it's so much better.
Yep.
But then I don't hate the environment. It's not like I'm like, America, like diesel fuel. Yeah. Like I actually want it to be, safely disposed of. But I don't want my electronics, even if I send it to electronics recycling, I don't want it to be end up being burned in a third world country.
In a landfill. So,
No, when they burn boards to get the metals out.
I know.
So what do I do? I feel like that's something that we should take on as a mission for the Amp Hour because we love this stuff.
The best way is to find somebody who wants it, who'll hoard it until they can find the next person to hoard it, and then it's sort of it doesn't. It's like from my point of view, as long as it doesn't make the landfill and the groundwater, I'm kind of happy.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Kind of that's the line that you've crossed, right? Once it's reached the landfill, you've given up and you've just tossed the thing.
I agree with that, and I do want to avoid that.
And you're part of the problem.
But is there an actual recycling? I mean, that's what I wonder about. So, I read about this stuff where it's the stories about 80% of electronics recycling it just gets shipped somewhere and dumped, and then they try and extract the minerals type of thing.
And then they burn it, and it's horrible
all this
for the
terrible,
local
terrible
population and all that sort of stuff. Well, you've got to investigate. You've got there's no short here in Australia. There's no shortage of electronic and computer recycling places, but you'd have to actually go in and audit them to know, what actually happens to your stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I just wonder, obviously circuit boards are fiberglass. I'm just thinking about the components as well. Obviously there's copper, there is value to it, but in terms of making it
there's all sorts of precious metals inside boards. Hang on. Oh, sorry.
See, Dave's been burning them in his lab. He just inhaled FR4 smoke. It's very caustic, folks. You got to be careful.
Lots of precious metals in there. There's gold, silver, palladium.
Really? I can make a chess piece.
Yeah. Palladium in tantalum caps and things like that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they use palladium. All sorts of valuable precious and. Palladium's $1,000 an ounce, There's all these precious metals, right? So, there's all these precious metals, and whether or not it's economical to actually extract them, right. You've got to do it on a mass scale.
This has gold flash. This connector, it cost $6 and had gold flash on it.
Yep. No, but I think your average notebook has $200 worth of precious metal in it or something.
Really?
It's quite a lot, but it costs you a lot to extract it.
Right. It'll cost you $180 to get it back out of there, kind of thing.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Something like that anyway. So, because and then you've got all that, all the the hard drives have neodymium magnets and all sorts of, valuable stuff.
Right. All commoditized, of course, as well, right? It's the same thing.
Of course, totally.
That silicon is I never worry about getting rid of silicon. I know it's been contaminated by implants and all that other stuff that's on there, and there's the metals and stuff like that, but that's so minuscule anyways. I'd worry more about the packaging than the actual silicon.
I wouldn't worry about silicon. It actually comes from sand. I think we've got plenty of sand.
Oh, yeah. No, I know. I meant the impurities that are put into the sand to make it go.
Silicon is the fourth largest abundant element
14
on Earth, isn't it?
That's right. I think it's up there.
Third or fourth most abundant element.
Maybe more than that.
Sorry, I need to Google that.
No, I think maybe higher than that. I don't know.
They're right.
But yeah, so what I was really thinking about though is just like, well, okay, so obviously we had Ariel on last week talking about, circuit boards, stuff like that. And so we could start to talk about, well, alternative boards, stuff like that. And I think we've talked about in the past, there's interesting things.
No, sorry. Silicon is number 2.
Number 2?
Silicon is number 2. Oxygen is number 1. Silicon's number 2. Then aluminium. Then iron, calcium, sodium, potassium, magnesium, titanium, hydrogen, phosphorus, manganese, blah, blah, blah.
Really?
Silicon is
Hydrogen's
number 2.
That
Silicon.
low? That's crazy.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah. Silicon is the second most abundant element in the Earth's crust. There you go.
Oh, it doesn't count the atmosphere as well?
It says there's a Wikipedia page abundant of elements in Earth's crust.
Okay, so maybe that's why, because I'd expect there's so much nitrogen in just air,
Yeah,
right?
right.
But
Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
not,
no.
maybe
So-
not volume-wise, I don't know, maybe, so.
Anyway, there you go. Yep. And they produce 7,600,000 tons of it a year.
Wow, that's...
Little factoid, little amp hour factoid for you.
Right.
No?
Right.
Totally useless, but
So anyways,
anyway, there you go.
Yeah, what I was wondering about is like, just the, like, maybe, I don't expect any immediate type stuff, like, but into the future could be about, better, ways to break down boards better, stuff like that. Because this is the stuff I really like. Whenever I was tossing on a keyboard that looks like it's from the 80s, right? So that was one thing I was doing, and just thinking about the crap that's in there, like breaking it down and making it recyclable. Obviously, things are moving towards more plastics anyways, and I think that's good for recyclable stuff.
I see this every day at the dumpster.
Right,
like,
yeah, of course. Yeah.
There's just the stuff that's going. And I'm going, the amount of engineering and resources that went into producing that thing, and you used it for 6 months and it failed and you're tossing it out. It's like,
but even like past that, like you think about, well, there's what is the use case? Like, so I have my desktop computer from college days, so from 2001. I think it's got like a Pentium 4 in or something like that, and like, but there's really no practical use of it, and probably the energy I burn running it.
That's right. Oh so, yeah, no, it's
it's not really there too.
Yeah.
So like. And then, so how do I actually, so like thinking about it into the future, obviously things are getting smaller, so maybe it won't be as big of a problem. But like, there's a lot of stuff out there that just doesn't have a practical use as a second life type of thing.
Totally.
So just getting to the point where it's like, okay,
I don't know.
How can we... So what I'm trying to get to is if
we're announcing here the amp hour recycling program to save planet.
Well, we can get there maybe, but I'd actually like to know if there's other resources out there right now. So if people do have resources, I would love to hear about them.
Right. Yep.
I mean, there's some stuff out there that I've Googled and stuff like that, but I would actually like to know from the the people that are in our community making electronics, because another thing that I wrote in this Reddit post as well is just that, like, this is kind of the part of making, like making as a culture is not really talked about. It's like, if you make a lot of things, that means you're also consuming, right? And I don't, I'm not like, I don't.
Oh no, we're part of the problem. Make no mistake about it.
Right. I mean, like, I just want to be responsible about it. So
we're making gadgets that sometimes we don't really need, right?
Right.
They're just
exactly.
fun, right?
Yeah.
And we are. Yep.
Yeah, and I think there's value in doing it, but there's a remainder from it. So I think it's just about, I think that we don't have to do any we don't have to do any like crusades or anything like that, but just thinking about it mostly from the fact that I love lead so much. If I just keep lead out of the drinking water from my contribution and maybe a couple others, like, that's good enough for me to start with, and then we can go from there.
Yep.
So. Yeah.
But geez, it solders so well, doesn't it?
Oh my God, I love lead solder so much. Like, yeah, I just, I'm holding back from saying so many like terrible things right now.
Right.
That I could say.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm mostly using lead free in the lab now. I'm trying to anyway.
Yeah.
So, it works, but yeah, it's just not nearly as sexy.
Yeah. At one point I made I think it was it must have been 2012. I made a campaign sticker for lead tin 2012, like,
All right.
like the U.S. election.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe I can take that back.
Oh, goodness. Anyway.
Don't take it away from
All right.
me.
Well, that's all we have for today's show. We should mention.
Yeah.
No, what?
Okay.
You want to talk about something else?
No, not
Trying to
talk.
finish up here.
I know.
It's 10 minutes up. It's 10 minutes over.
I know. You go ahead, and I'll fill in if I need to.
We should mention that our Patreon supporters.
This is
thank
what I
you
was
very
gonna
much
mention.
to our patrons. Ah, right. Well,
Yeah,
there you go.
okay, good.
It's now enough per show to cover the cost of sending a microphone to our guests
Yeah.
every
So-
second week. So thank you very much.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate that.
We are not losing money now. Woohoo!
Well, we were still coasting from when we had advertisers, and that's fine.
Yeah, but
that was starting to
technically
run
we
low.
were losing money. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so we really do appreciate that. Dave finally figured out he hasn't been updating pages, so if you are a supporter...
Yeah, no, sorry. I'm
Yeah.
going to do
He'll
a
get
couple
better.
more today. So there'll be a bulk. So I apologise because one person complained that I did them all, updated them all at once, and they got charged in bulk. Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah.
It's,
So
it's
we'll
because
get a little better about that.
Chris edits the thing and then uploads it like a day later, and like I forget about it, and by the time that happens, and yeah, it's just
So we do appreciate that,
I'll
though,
try not
and
to. Maybe I should set myself a calendar thing that pops up and says, "Go."
Dave
release
uses a
the
calendar
amp
now.
hour.
I never thought I'd see the day.
Well, I don't really.
Yeah, I should set a calendar thing and then shout at you. That's what it really is.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah,
Anyway.
we do really appreciate that, folks, and like I said, or like Dave said, the fact that now we can send microphones to guests is awesome. It's always paid for servers, stuff like that too. So that's really great. And
Yes, thank you very much. And if you want to contribute, we'll put the link in down below. I think it's patreon.com, the amp hour, is it? Or user, the amp hour, something like that.
yeah, I'll put the link.
Just
in. I'm
search
not sure.
patreon.com for
Yeah,
amp
that'll
hour.
work too.
And we charge per episode. It's not a per month thing,
Right.
which is because we do such a consistent show, it makes the most sense to do that.
Yep.
So, yeah. And we don't really do any off-topic shows, so they're all...
Yeah, except all of them.
Oh, except all of them, right? That's what you're signing up for, so... Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay.
Anyway, yes, so please support us on Patreon. Thank you very
Yes.
much.
Thank you.
It keeps us alive.
And if you don't have money, that's okay too.
No, that's fine. Just keep on listening.
And iTunes reviews. I've been listening to other podcasts recently on dog walks, and people remind me to review shows on iTunes, and I'm like, oh yeah, iTunes. I remember that. So,
Right, yeah. That was so big 5 years ago.
Yeah, well, it's still big.
It was the thing. It was like...
iTunes is still kind of how everybody gets their stuff for iPhones, so that's kind of still a big thing.
No, right. Okay.
But I did
Do
notice
people,
that we
I
are.
assume people still get my blog through that podcast, that little shitty 640 by 360 version through
yeah,
iTunes.
maybe.
I
I don't
guess.
know. I don't
Well,
do
there's
that.
still a few. Every time I go look at the stats, there's still like a couple of thousand who download it. Like,
Yeah,
but
nice.
it's so shitty resolution, 640
Yeah, but if
by
you're on a phone,
360.
People just want to be able
Yeah.
to watch it on like commutes to
Right.
work and stuff like that.
Okay, right.
So
Yeah, but everyone's got like HD screen phones now. Like,
yeah, but what are you really showing?
know?
You're just a talking head. Come on, man.
Right. Yep. Still.
I need to see high def what Dave got in his mail.
Yeah. I do teardowns. You want to see the porn?
True.
Jeez.
Yeah, man.
Anyway.
I
Yeah,
did.
right.
All right, one last thing.
Oh,
The reason
God.
for people to give us iTunes reviews, we're currently below a podcast about dentistry. And
Right.
come on, folks. That just can't stand. So,
I don't know. It could be a bloody good podcast.
yeah, maybe. Bloody gum. All
Don't
right.
knock it. They've probably got a bigger audience than we do.
Probably. Yeah.
All those gum aficionados.
That's
out
right. All right, man. We'll talk to you next week.
there. Bye.
Hey, Mike. We know you're driving in your car right now. Nah, I'm just kidding. We don't know anyone who's named Mike, but you're probably driving in your car.
Oh, right. They'll freak out. Right.
Just
Okay.
wondering. Yeah,
Right.
just seeing if there's
Freak someone
that...
out and cause an accident. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, and a big shout out to Mike, who's about to turn left on
Exactly. Like we're just getting to the point where it's like we have enough listeners that might work.
Right, that it's bound to happen. Right, yeah. That's how street magic works, like
Yeah,
some of those street magicians, right? Like they'll do
Yeah.
these impossible tricks, but they'll go out and they'll shoot video,
Yeah.
card tricks, right? That are actually impossible, right?
Yeah.
You can't do it. But if you do it in front of 50 people, one of them's bound to work. You can pick a random card and you can, and that's the one they'll put up on YouTube. They won't put the 50 failures.
Except for us, it would be like, is this your resistor value?
Yeah, exactly. That's right. And somebody's bound to get it.